Linda, how you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How you doing, Sam?
Better than I deserve. It's been a week. We titled this "Rock Chips, Migraines, Major Changes and Stuff," and you and I have a tendency to probably talk more before we actually start. And there's been some gold in there, and we've missed it because then when we start, we forget about it. But um, sometimes it's the little things that either set us off or cause us to sidetrack, or we can take it and say, okay, um, this was a necessary change that needed to happen, right?
Right.
So, first off, I want to start with you have a program starting on um,
Monday.
Monday the
Okay.
9th, correct?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm going to be doing a free lesson on perspective, and you'll get some nice takeaways. But one of the things I'm going to do is give you an exercise that you can use anytime you get stuck on a problem or a decision, and you find yourself hitting the wall. There, this exercise helps you look at it a little bit differently, and most of the time, a solution or several solutions will pop up after you use this exercise. So, um, doing that on Monday, it'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time,
Okay.
and
So,
it's free. So,
last week we talked about perspective, and sometimes you look at things, and we sometimes look at it with blinders on.
yeah,
Um, what's good about rock chips and migraines. I looked at it. I spent all day yesterday with a. I haven't had a migraine like that caused me to miss work in over 30 years.
oh wow,
And the sad part about it is it took me a solid 12 hours to realize what was going on, why I was as sick as I was, and everything else. And I'm like, oh, this is dumb. You can fix it. Anyway,
it's
but
amazing. It's amazing how we get caught up in the what's happening, and sometimes we just need to step back and say, okay, so this is happening. What are my options instead of, oh, this is happening? You know,
right. And it's one of those. I just got off the phone with my granddaughter, and she's had some health issues, and has got a new baby and everything. Well, new. She's a year old, year and a half old, and great granddaughter is really awesome. And so she had procedures done, uh, dealing with a blood clot or something like that. So she called me because the lady who called her from the doctor's office couldn't tell her what was going on. Well, of course she can't. You got to talk to the doctor.
yeah,
And so anyway, um, so she's stressing over that, that's typical. But it's sometimes, like you said, it's the little things that set us off, and we need to get a new perspective on it. You know, and like we were talking about rock chips. You're dealing with rock chips. I was doing great. I hadn't had a rock chip since 2017 when we moved down here, and we picked up 2 rock chips. One in each car, right in our line of vision, about halfway down. So Texas wasn't very good to us. So, but I'm driving along the other day on my way home, and how when it hits, it just
yeah, it's
it
like,
makes you jump. And this one
yeah,
came like it hit right at eye level, and kind of shook me up. But when I'm driving, I can't see. It's like I got to close one eye to to see. So it's like that's not safe. But Florida is really good about the way that works and everything. So that guy's coming out today to fix that windshield. And my initial perspective on it was, what a pain, right? Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't know. I have insurance,
mhm.
you know, um, and so it's not going to cost me anything. So why would I be upset about it, right? Um, but it did set me off for a little while, right?
Yeah,
Um, and so we do need to step back sometimes and say, okay, is this really a big deal or is it not? you have some major changes coming, and you have been so um, intentional and um, precise. I'm trying to think. There's another word there that I want to use because that's not strong enough in taking care of your finances since we've been working together on them. And what happens? Good things come. Good things come. And so I firmly believe that now you're in a position that you pretty much can do what you want, and um, everything came together.
Everything's come together, and it's kind of weird because, I always said I was never going to retire. Not because I couldn't, but because I didn't want to.
Right.
But now I have that opportunity that if I don't do anything
Right.
to earn money, I'm still very well taken care of.
Yes. Yes.
And that's so freeing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I don't say that to brag and say, oh, isn't this great
No,
for
no,
me?
no.
What it is I think a lot of people downplay the effects of financial stress on their mind, on their body, and on their circumstances.
Yes.
When you are constantly trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, and you're in those places where, do I pay the rent or do I buy food?
Right. Right. And that's no fun. And I've been there.
Yeah. And, if you've never been there, God bless you. May you never be there.
Right.
But
right.
especially, I would say in the last 15, 20 years, it's been a lot easier to fall into that. And it's not because people aren't doing what they should be doing. And, you shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 full-time jobs in order to keep food on your table and clothes on your kids' back and keep your power on.
Right.
And, when we look at how things have progressed in my lifetime and yours, it went from being the one breadwinner,
Right.
and then the spouse at home taking care of the kids, to both of them working full-time. And now, even in a 2-income household, there's probably somebody working more than one job.
Yep.
And the cost of living has greatly outpaced
Oh, yeah.
our income. And, Denver's not a cheap place to live. I love it here. I wouldn't live anywhere else, but it's expensive. It's not Seattle expensive. It's not San Francisco expensive, but it's expensive.
Right.
I mean,
right.
In Denver, the minimum wage is $18 an hour, and that is not a living wage.
No, it's 15 in Florida.
Yeah.
And that's not a living wage.
No.
And it's like you said, people are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and half the time they're not making ends meet. But part of that has to do with budgeting, communication, and
Right.
not really telling your money what to do.
And
we've talked.
you gave me that wonderful boilerplate blueprint to start with, and then we customized it for me. And that has made all the difference in the world. So much so that even though I am now in a much easier place to breathe, I'm still following that because I'm not going back.
Right. And once you work your way out of that, generally you don't go back. It's the people who use what are they called? The debt management.
The debt consolidation.
Debt consolidation, and they take over their debt in 3 years, they pay them off, or what? They really don't realize how it works. They don't pay them off. They negotiate them down, or bankruptcy have a tendency to go within a few years after So with bankruptcy, about 3 years after you file bankruptcy, you're going to start getting notifications for credit cards, high interest, high
Yeah.
fees, stuff like that.
Rebuild
And
your credit. Yeah.
right, rebuild your credit, and people dump on it, and then they get right back into the same mess because they didn't do the work.
You know, it's amazing how many, even while I was digging myself out, the number of credit card applications that were
Yeah,
made. And I'm like, why are you sending me these? You know, I'm not going to qualify. And,
yeah,
but when you're desperate and you think, you know, even if it's just for $1,000 or $2,000, if that'll get you through, it's amazing what you'll do. But even in that situation, one of the things that I was able to, for one thing, I was able to keep my eye on what my goal was and be very strategic about honoring that goal. And I'm kind of one of those people, you know, like in my business and stuff, I have goals, and a lot of times they're lofty and I don't attain them, and then I beat myself up. And
right.
this was a goal that it was lofty. I had a lot of debt, but I also knew that if I stayed the course, and obviously it meant a lot more to me. I mean, everything else had to stop while I was taking care of this. It's like I
Right,
just
right.
want to be done.
You shut down
And
everything. You shut down all your excess spending.
I did, and it's freeing not to have to do that, but I'm not going to go crazy.
Right.
You know, and I want to take the fact that now that I can breathe, I can start enjoying some of those small things again. I do have, you know, I sign up for Turning Point every year, and so I was able to actually go in and book my hotel, book my flight.
Right.
That was wonderful. We'll see how Southwest does for the boarding.
Yeah.
I haven't flown this year since they've switched over, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I heard they made some changes in the way they board and everything else, and I hear a lot of grumbling, and then I hear a lot of, it's better. I don't know. I haven't flown them in a while.
Well, their shareholders wanted them to charge more, so they've gone to more. It's more like everybody else does.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is most people. I mean, I'm Southwest forever because of their customer service, and I know exactly how much it is when I check out. There's not going to be any hidden fees, but also just because the people that work there are different. And people are complaining, well, now they're just like any other airline. Well, no, not really, because their people are still their people.
Yeah, their people are still their people, and they will be. It's
And
always been a people-focused organization.
The random boarding, if you still don't care where you sit, then get the cheapy seats. It's perfect.
Yep.
There's not that tremendous amount of difference between the things. And, you know, I always would put my reminder so I could check in right away. But sometimes, even when I checked in right away, I was still in the final boarding.
Right. Me too.
Doesn't make.
Yeah.
And then when you check in what you're where you're going to be, so you can plan accordingly for your carry-on.
Right. Exactly. They didn't start charging for luggage, did they?
Your carry-ons are still free.
Oh, but you're checked?
Your checked is $35.
Oh, okay.
Which is no big deal. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is what I do sometimes, and I was doing this before. I take my carry-on, and if I'm in the later stages of boarding and it's a full flight, a lot of times they'll ask for those of us near the end if we want to check our bag for free.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, why not?
I always pack the essentials in my backpack because that will not get checked.
Yeah.
And then if I'm getting on and it looks like they're running out of overhead bin space, they can check it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't
Exactly.
cost me.
Yeah. Exactly. As long as it doesn't cost. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
So,
You know,
some of it is you got to plan a little bit.
yeah.
And planning can sometimes lead to migraines.
Yeah. Yep. And it's funny when something, excuse me, when something hasn't bothered you for a long time, like the migraine yesterday, you miss the warning signs.
You kind of forget, yeah.
Yeah. The warning signs started the night before, and I didn't catch it. And by not catching it, it went full blown.
So are
And
yours weather related or stress related or?
mine are usually stress related, but I didn't, excuse me, except for fighting the pneumonia, I didn't have any real stress going on.
Oh, fighting
I don't
pneumonia,
know.
I think, your body's under stress.
Yeah, that's it. And that it actually started the night after all the medications ended. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know. But
Oh,
but now I'm reminded, hey, this is how your migraines start. And so uh, and here's the funny thing. Okay, so it usually starts with a queasy stomach, not like nausea, just queasy, and that kind of takes the focus away from the head, right?
mhm.
And so, what was my thought process? Not that I may be getting a migraine. What did I eat?
Yeah.
What did I do? How,
What's
why
not
am I
agreeing with me?
why am I feeling this way? What didn't agree with me? And it's like, no, I know where all the ingredients came from. The only thing outside of a sandwich or two that I made that hadn't eaten in a while was Rita makes some borscht, and she makes phenomenal borscht. Um, and I'm like, no, there's nothing in there that I'm allergic to or anything like that. And so, so I spent more time trying to figure out, what I ate or where that, rather than focusing on, hey, this is turning into a migraine. And then once it hit, it was over. And
Yeah,
so I guess there's an upside and a downside. I got a lot more sleep yesterday and last night than I had in a long time. And so, but
that might have been it too.
yeah, could be. So, but when we go through major changes, when we go through things, we have to really look and see, okay, um, we can't let the little things that we've been working on or that we've been doing go away. You know, um, I look at what changed over the last few months with my responsibilities on my job. And, when I'm there, I'm responsible for anywhere between 65 and 85 people. Okay. Leading them and getting a job done and basically transferring 5,000 people on and off a ship,
Right.
2,500 a pop. And so I realized probably about a month ago, and that meant we were 3, 4 months into it, that um, I had let my evenings with my wife go. It had become more important for me to get home, take a nap, eat dinner, and go to bed because I had to be up at 3 in the morning. And like I said, about a month ago, it's like, you can't do this. Actually, probably more like 6 weeks. It's hurting your relationship. Rita just watches TV until it's time to go to bed because I'm not there. And so I made some changes and uh, forced myself to, be sociable, be there, and be there in the moment for her. And of course, that always improves the relationships, right? And so, but I was so focused on trying to do a good job, trying to do everything that I can, going the extra mile, being the leader that I needed to be, that I wasn't leading my family. And that's not good.
You know, and that's where sometimes those hard decisions come in.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yes, you're working because the income is helpful. But sometimes you have to look and say, is this helping or is it not?
Is it hurting? Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at that decision. We've talked about some things, um, some organizations I'm involved with and stuff like that, and what I'm letting go of. And you think about it, it's like, okay, I've been doing this for a long time. Do I really need to let go? Or should I put my focus elsewhere? And we talked about empowered living, and I really am staying involved with empowered living. But there's other organizations like, okay, if I let this go, then I have more time over here, right? And but it's still hard. I've been doing it since 2017,
Yeah.
and so, but the value is not there. Um, it's become all social, and it started out as business, and I don't need that kind of social, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I don't need to uh, be able to eat and have an adult beverage or something with a whole bunch of people when I could go out with my wife. Right? We could do something together.
Right.
Um, she never felt a part of that organization, and so it just wasn't her gig.
Right.
So yeah, and so you let that go, and the decision has been, what do I replace with it? What do I, we're coming out of the season. Our March is one of the busiest months that we have at the port. We're going to have 50 some odd ships in this month, which is insane. Um, but when I look at the schedule, most of it on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, hardly anything on the week that I'll get scheduled for. So after March is done, um, you know, I'm home free. So what am I going to do? That's my income right now. I have a couple of options, but what I'm looking at, the decision to make is this is a major move because probably going to cut my income in half. Okay,
Right.
just because of the number of ships. So what's the best way for me to earn income? And um, uh, so that's why I'm finishing up my program on uh, 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 DISC and Money Mastery Budgeting with DISC Insight, which will be rolling out end of March, beginning of April,
Okay.
and then some other ways to generate some income other than going to work for a guy who's been bugging me for over a year to come to work for him. Because all I'm doing then is exchanging time for money,
Right.
and that's I'm at an age where that's just not it's not going to benefit me. And besides, it's not a whole lot of money. you know, it's,
And your time is valuable.
yeah. So
And I think that's one of the things that we have a hard time allowing ourselves
yeah,
is
yeah,
to put that value on our time. Now, I'm
yeah.
not saying if you hate your job, quit it without having
Right,
something else.
right.
Be very intentional
Hmm.
about the reason you're working.
Right, right.
And if it's a job or a place you don't like, be your best every day because that's going to open up opportunities for you. You may
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
think so. You may not
Hmm.
think so, but you know, as we know, everything is energy. And so if the energy you have going into a job that you don't like is that I'm going to give my best every day, you're going to
Hmm.
start attracting better things to you.
Yeah,
Um, if you go in and you hate your job and you make sure everybody knows it, I mean, I've done that
yeah.
in the past. And, you know, the jobs that I didn't like, all but one of them, I didn't help things,
Hmm.
you know, um, and I wasn't aware enough and I wasn't mature enough
Hmm.
to take on that responsibility. You know, they hired me for my skill set,
Yeah,
and that's what I was there to deliver, my skill set. Now I can do that in a good mood or I could do that in a bad mood.
right,
But
right.
what's think about it. What makes your day better?
Yeah,
if you won't do it, if you won't change how you're looking at your position right now, if you don't want to do it for everybody else because you want a pleasant place to work, do it for yourself.
Right.
Take some of that stress off of you.
Mm-hmm.
And because usually what happens is you internalize that,
Mm-hmm.
and that affects your health, your mental, your physical health. It affects your relationships at home.
Mm-hmm.
It affects your relationships outside of work and at work.
Right.
And with my last corporate job, my boss at the time, she was so wonderful, because I was just miserable. And
Mm-hmm.
she came to me one day and she said, I know you're miserable. She said, but really this is what we can help you do.
Mm-hmm.
And she helped me realign how I thought about what I was doing.
Yeah. It's
And
always great to have those types of people, right?
she was so wonderful. Because it's hard. It's hard to have employees that work for you that are unhappy.
Yeah.
And it affects everybody else.
Everybody else. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the hard thing is your bad mood is going to spread faster than your good mood.
Yeah. Exactly. It's we see that all the time, and we had really weird positions and stuff like that. It's like people say, "Well, you're just working the escalator." Well, there's a lot of stupid people that go down escalators, um, uh, and
Try to carry things down the escalator that they should not.
oh, two big old pieces of luggage and then a backpack and all sorts. We have people who carry their baby down the escalator in a like a papoose thing that you wear in the front.
Uh-huh.
And they have no idea the danger there. I do this all the time. Yeah, and you're the one that's going to fall. And who's going to get injured? Not you. Anyway, that's beside the point. That just drives me crazy. And
Mhm.
but I tell them you got to make the most of it, and how to deal with guests like that. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. You can't stop them. That's what our company tells us. So, but you have to be able to be pleasant in that scenario, right, and come across. And so, you just have to make the best of the day. And if you don't like your jobs, just like you said, start looking. There's stuff out there. There's all sorts in Tampa area. There's all sorts of companies hiring. You're bound to find something that you like. You know, and if you can't deal with guests on one job or customers on one job, you're probably not going to be able to deal well with guests or customers on another job. So don't jump out of the frying pan into the fire and create
Don't
grief.
trade job for job, and it's exactly the same thing, just different company.
Yep, different company, right? Exactly. So, Linda, this has been fun. Talk to me again about your program again, starting on March 9th. Is it 7 p.m. Eastern?
7 p.m. Eastern, and it's a matter of perspective. And I forgot to put the link up, so we'll grab that and put that in the notes when we post. And
Okay.
it's free, and hop on in, and we'll talk about how changing your perspective changes your outcomes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been fun today, Linda. If you do need to reach out to either one of us, we share an email at balancingact2024@gmail.com. Just drop us a note. Let us know what you thought about today, and if you have any questions.
You
Once
bet.
again, Linda Wilson, Sam McEwen, live intentionally, be very blessed.